So Arsenal 2, Nottingham Forest 1. We made extremely hard work of that in the end. Very surprising and eyebrow-raising starting 11, Kenny. First game back at the stadium, you were locked out, I understand.
Well, yeah. Well, thank God that common sense prevailed and that they delayed kickoffs by 30 minutes, because when we got to the stadium, my wife dropped me off. I saw obviously the other League judges, and I saw my old mate Lloyd Coote, a good friend of mine, went primary school and secondary school with him. And basically, when we got there, we couldn't believe it. It was packed. It was like there must have been at least about 5,000 people still there, and the queue was getting longer and longer and longer. And then I go to plot B. So when I finally could see plot B, it was a case where people were saying, "I'm fainting. Let me in." You're having to let people push in, because one woman had a panic attack. Well, there was about 10 people. 5 women and 5 blokes having panic attacks, just as much as she was. But obviously, she said she was a priority. And then there was a bloke who tried to sneak in because he's got a little kid. Well, there was little kids getting crushed behind me. So, everyone waited their turn. And then, hey, dude, you're right, mate. To make it worse, there was one bloke. He was like a statue. I mean, everyone was moving fast. I don't know where we were. Well, yeah, we're still with him later. He had his hands around the railings. And I was thinking, everyone's pushing me in front and crushing me, and then you're just standing there and you move like a snail. And I was thinking, I didn't know whether to push him, swear at him, or just think, you know what, just pray I don't get crushed. So I went for option 3, which is pray I don't get crushed. It was a nightmare.
It's not great. Somebody in my chat said there was about 30,000 people still outside the ground.
Yeah. Well, in my section it was 5,000, but there was probably thousands more behind me. So it was dangerous.
Yeah, not a great start to the season for Arsenal in that respect, but a great start in terms of getting 3 points on the board.
And definitely.
It wasn't great. And we started that game off, in my opinion. We started that game off before we did that little bit of skill for Martinelli for Eddie's goal. I was sitting there saying, this is not what I expected from the start. What did you make of the starting 11 in the first 20 minutes before?
Well, getting the starting 11, I was gutted when I saw it, because I looked at it. I looked at that starting 11, I was thinking, hang on here. I started thinking, hang on, are we trying to no matter what, Benjamin White must play? Because I think about it, if you look at it logically, you think about Timber, who's been signed, he could play right back or centre half, and then you've got left back in who inverted in Zinchenko. So logically, you look at the team and you think Zinchenko left back, Timber right back, and you look at the centre half pairing of Gabriel and Saliba, and you think, right, that never gets broken no matter what. What's happening is that centre half pairing got broken, and I was just looking at it. Fjortoff has just walked past me, Jan Fjortoff. Anyway, distracting. What a distraction he is, eh? Anyway, you look at that centre half pairing, and you think, well, that should never be broken, but it was broken. Because I saw enough in the Community Shield last week to be a bit confused why Gabriel was left out. And then Thomas Partey left right back again. And then Havertz, Odegaard and Rice in midfield. No. It's like he's saying that Thomas Partey's best position is the number 6, but Declan Rice's best position is the number 6. And that Declan Rice can't play the number 8, where we played Great Jack last season. So we're going to sort of shove it about and see if we can try Kai Havertz in number 8 position. And to be honest, he kind of came alive, Kai Havertz, when we played in the counter attack for some reason after they scored. But apart from that, he did what a David Chunt does. A David Chunt, first thing they do is they keep it easy, keep it simple. They don't try to make any mistakes. They don't take any risks. They just keep it simple. But we didn't pay £65 million for it to keep it simple. We want him to take risks. We want him to do what Martinelli plays. We want him to play with a bit of panache. We want him to play with a bit of confidence. We bought Declan Rice because we thought he would play number 8. We don't want Declan Rice as a number 6. We don't want him holding. We don't want him. We didn't buy you for that. But I think if you look at it, the 3 players we had in the team, it looked like 3 players that made their debuts. And then when you've got invariably, if you've got 3 players made in their debuts, you carry them, don't you? You carry them. You try not to play your natural game. You get in a situation when you're 2-0 up, you allow them to feel themselves in the game, but at the expense of probably a 3 points, because whilst we had 3 debutants trying to fill themselves into the football match, Forest get a bit of confidence of thinking, hang on here, when we play Arsenal, they're coming up waves at us, they're attacking, they're coming, you know, Martinelli's bombing down the left-hand side, Saka's down the right, the midfield and the forwards are making runs because Odegaard's penning his balls. But what we did, we managed the game out, tried to see if Forest come onto us and then see if we can hit them on a break. And it didn't work out like that. When Forest went long, that's when they started to make a bit in runs. They made some really very good substitutions. Alanga, Iwanmi, you know, and they brought on a Bolly as well. And I think Bolly started, but they brought us some big lads on.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, gave them a bit physical power.
Goal, well, their goal, the goal that they scored, mate, the way he put them afterburners on.
We were shocked when we saw Alanga do that. We knew he was capable of it. We didn't see much of that at Man United, but it was one of those things where the only good thing about that, like I said, conceding that goal was the reaction, where he realises something's not right. He brings Gabriel on, and he takes off Martinelli. But the thing about it is that the manager should be more proactive, and he should be more perceptive. Should be more reactive, because when you're reactive, it's telling me that you probably made a bit of a rip with your team selection.
Well, why do you think he dropped Gabriel Magalhaes? Why? That was weird to me.
It's simple to keep Benjamin White in the team. Simple. It makes no sense whatsoever, because others may interpret that and say, well, hang on here, Declan Rice is not ready to play number 8, so we might as well play Declan Rice in a number 6 position. Toz Partey can play right back, so the guy who's a full guy there is Gabriel. But when you're looking at, you can come to those interpretations, and you're not going to be too far off. My interpretation is that it's kind of a repeat of last season when we finally got Partey out back in the team when he was he was rested by Arteta. He played it right back. Benjamin White goes into centre half position. Nothing, and that's the same what we've done before. He clearly rates Benjamin White very highly, because if you look at my first team when everyone's fit, my first team is in goal, obviously Raya, right back Timber, left back Zinchenko, 2 centre halves Saliba and Gabriel. That means I can't find a place for Benjamin White in the team, and I can't find a place for Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney wasn't in the squad, by the way, and that's another discussion. But that is my first choice centre half situation. So if that's my first choice situation, the manager clearly looks at the qualities that he feels that Benjamin White has. He's played them at centre half. We didn't think it was successful. He played at right back. We thought that was quite successful. But it looks like whatever changes you make to that back four, Benjamin White ain't going to be one of them. He either plays right back or centre half.
It's a bit weird. It was a bit weird. I want to ask you as well, because watching that game, it felt like it dragged on forever. I can't lie. Right?
It will do. It will do, because simple reason is that you think about it. Forest haven't got the kind of speed of foot and speed of passing. So they, even though they try to pass it amongst themselves and try and play patterns, it's too slow. So we are able to get back. So if we up their tempo,
after 24 minutes, they had 13 completed passes.
Yeah, and that's it. But when we up the tempo, you look at the times when we up the tempo, we scored 2 good goals. We up the tempo from Martinelli, winning the ball back, and then using a bit of score to set up, Nketiah. Obviously, a deflected shot, but it still goes in the goal for Nketiah. And then out of nothing, Saka scores that worldie. That's all issues. That all stems from us winning the ball back. Once we win the ball back, like Saliba wins the ball back from an attack, he gives the ball to Saka. Saka shoots in an angle where it can only go one way. He's only going to score if he's curved the ball. He's curved the ball and it goes in the net. Those 2 bits of quality, but that is down to us with our intensity, winning the ball back, and then adding a bit of pace to our passing and movement. That's when we got beyond Forest. When we were trying to manage the game out, trying to slow the game down, it was no good. But Forest only made inroads when they went a bit longer and they brought a bit of pace and direct, and they played a bit more direct. But if they played more direct in that for all that second half, anything could have happened.
Mate, they had that chance from Johnson. Any half competent striker buries that. Yeah, we got very
exactly.
lucky.
Well, yeah, and that could have made it 1-0 to them. And that's so you can't say they didn't have their chances. But I did feel that, you know, when you have 3 depth shots playing in the team, you're carrying 3 players. And I think we felt like we were carrying 3 players to the extent that we couldn't take risks because, you know, these players weren't, you know, like I said, aren't in tune with what we want to do. You saw a situation when Kai Havertz, so times when I thought he was a bit languid, there was a time when Arteta had a go at him because he wasn't showing enough intensity to get in a position to receive a pass. Yes, it was a bit of a hospital pass, but sometimes good players turn a crap pass into a very good one. You see Kai Havertz, he's like this, and his manager right in front of me is going, no, you don't do that at Arsenal. And I think that is something that we've got to learn from Kai Havertz. But there were nice things with Kai Havertz on the break. You know, he's a strong runner. He hasn't got the pace of Langer, but he's a strong runner, and he showed that, you know, he could put the defences under pressure. But finding a place for him for Kai Havertz in the team is going to be very difficult, in my opinion, because where do you play him?
I think that's a great thing you've just said, because last week he played up front. This week he played left mid. Yeah, and it's almost like, you know, you're right about 3 debutants, yeah. But when you're playing 3 debutants and you're mix and matching the team around and shoehorning players in and doing this, to me it looked a mess. Yeah,
but it's going to be like that for a while.
We got the result, which is the main thing.
It's going to be. Yeah, but the thing about it is that if you look at our games, we're going to have an intense game against Crystal Palace next week. Fulham, if they keep Mitrovic and they get Hudson-Odoi, they're going to have a bit more than Nottingham Forest have in terms of quality. So when you've got, you know, that team was only going to settle down probably the end of September. So we got to negotiate a lot of you know, points within that within that period. However, last season we won all our games up until the 1st of December. That was a platform to challenge for the league. We've got to find a way to win those games and carry these players. So we've got to find a way to win next week at Palace. Then we've got to play Fulham, and then obviously after Fulham we've got Man United, very hard, top side, and then after that we have a bit of a break with the internationals, and we've got Everton and Tottenham, and then Man City. I think so. Those are the sort of games where we got to quickly find a style of play that suits our new players. Or the new players have to quickly find a way to fit into our system, because at the moment we can get away with carrying them up to a point, but certain fixtures we're going to play within that period up until the end of September ain't going to allow us to carry players.
100%. Listen, mate, get home safe. And I know you got some boxing to watch tonight. I'll be watching as well, AJ. Not the fight we wanted, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
and,
it is what it is.
His first trophy tonight as well.
Definitely. Right. So I'll see you at the podcast on Monday.
Yeah, top man. Nice one, mate.
Right.
Have a good weekend. Love you, mate.
All right.